Hi, this is Stephen Bourne from the Rise Civic League. Stick around, you're going to hear from Alex Herilhy with things about St. Andrew's Church. It is spring, we've got some flowers behind us, and let's hear the top 10. So we had the Civic League, we had a monthly discussion. We invited Dr. Rosalie Lepresto to come and talk about what she's learned about the landfill. So the Rye Municipal Landfill is that corner of Breakfast Hill Road and Lafayette Road. The Rye dump is not the transfer station, but it's on the other side of the road, towards Garland Road back there. And for what we learned is that the ash that makes Coakley a Superfund site is at the Breakfast Hill landfill. And recently, the ground management zone has been expanded and includes the development on the corner of Washington Road and Lafayette. And so there's a tremendous amount of information there, and Dr. Lepresto is willing to do additional presentations, discussions, if the town so asks her to do that, or people do that. All right, the other one is Parsons Creek, the E. coli contamination. There is the Parsons Creek, the watershed management plan update. That meeting was held. We've got the presentation, the video. As you know, it's all the DNA. The big thing there is most of the septic systems have been pumped out. There's only a few outstanding. So it really shifts to the leach fields and what can we do to really keep this problem from getting better, because it is getting worse. Also, our state reps, Peggy Balboni, Jackie Grode, and Dennis Malloy from Greenland, they came and talked to the select board about all the changes in Concord and the downshifting of costs coming. And also the month before, they talked about the school funding and how that may happen. So we have the link to that presentation for March. The select board is trying to add something to the tax bills. They haven't figured out the logistics, but giving people an opportunity to make a donation to help people as property taxes rises, a way of helping each other out. I guess Dover's been doing this for years and it's been very successful. The planning board, as you know, we're trying to how do we create more inventory? What can we do to encourage that? One of the things that comes up is, well, what about water? So the Rye Water Department and Aquarian came and talked to the planning board, and really what it comes down to is it depends. So the irrigation is still the problem, condensed developments, and they really can't give us any guidance besides we've got to look at every development as we go. So we got that. Also, let's see, the Rice schools, I think, as you know, some of the executive mandates and from the federal government, DEI, I think you've read in some of the papers, the schools have been signing on saying, we're going to continue as Rye has not decided what they're going to do. They didn't have a full board, so they postponed that. The good news is the select board is moving forward to hire a full-time finance director. That job posting is done. Please read it, spread the word out. Let's help get somebody good for that. I think the other one, news made the paper. The Goss Farm barn has been closed. All the swallows, animals do what they do, and there's so much swallow poop that it's a health hazard. It's been closed. Also, the Conservation Commission looking to maybe change the process around sidewalks to get that more efficient. One of the new members also was trying to get access to the non-public documents from the past, and that was an interesting discussion. The select board decided I had some letters they didn't include, and comments I made didn't show up the meeting minutes, and so the action there is the select board said, well, it's not part of the agenda. Let's just not include anyone's discussions, because they covered other people's comments in much more detail. My comments and my letters getting on the agenda were left out. And also the school's facility plan has been updated. The school budget is $16 million. The facilities building is part of it. They've got the SAU facilities director done a great job for that. I'm also going to add, right before the Civic News goes out, is on the 8th, there's going to be a Rye Harbor meeting. I think it's at 3 p.m., part of that PDA. So I'll have a link to that too. All right, that's enough of me talking. Here's Alex.
Good afternoon, everybody. Well, we had to postpone our filming because an hour ago there was a deluge. We are standing at St. Andrew's, one of 3 historic chapels that graced the seacoast, built in the late 1800s. The other one is Union Chapel in Northampton, and then the Little Harbor Chapel on Little Harbor Road. And they served the needs of not just summer people, but everyone who wanted to have an experience near the water at a small chapel. So thanks to the Filbert family, and it was they, of course, who built the first hotel in Rye, the Atlantic House, just south of here. And that was in 1846, and then in 1864 they built the first Farragut Hotel. And that was a very different looking structure than the one we're familiar with from 1882 to 1975. But anyway, that Filbert family owned this land here. And I'm going to read from a Stroll article last year on St. Andrews, where it says, a generous donation by Rye's Frank A. and Elizabeth Filbert pulled together to build the iconic slate roof chapel, which owes much of its design to the stick and late Gothic revival styles. But one could also say it looks like something you would find in rural England as well. So this chapel, while the presiding rector is the head of St. John's in Portsmouth, but they have a wide variety, diversity of different faiths who come and have different services each Sunday. And if you go to the St. Andrews website, you would see that. I'd like to give a shout out to the Rye History Trolley Tour, which I started in 2011. It's been sold out ever since. I turned it over last summer to President of the Historical Society, Andy Stecker, and it still has the same 3 stops: St. Andrews, Drake House, and Goss Farm, where you get to get off and go inside. So if you join that trolley tour, one of the 3 occasions this year, you can go in and see the beauty of the interior, and you can see the beautiful stained glass, one of which is dedicated to longtime Secretary Ogden Nash, the great poet. So much interesting history associated with this place. The graveyard in the back, you can see, was the members of the Filbert family, who were, of course, so acquainted with this. The other thing is, we are very close, just going south on Church Road here, which you can walk but not drive. But back in the days of the horse and buggy, the Farragut Hotel had a beautiful Concord coach. It was the deluxe model. It cost $2,000. And there are more photographs of this structure, I think, than any other one in Rye. Postcards, every single angle, everybody wanted their picture taken here. And just a couple of things. The reason, of course, for the steps here, this would allow people to get up and get into the stage. So it would make it much easier for them. The stage would pull right up because it was quite high off the ground. The other thing over here, this little structure is called the Lich Gate, and I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is when there was a funeral. The coffin would be brought right under this little structure, and then the minister, the priest, whoever was officiating would come out to bless the deceased, and then the coffin would be brought in for the actual service. So lots more to learn about St. Andrews. Historian Greg Kahn of the church did a presentation last year. I'm sure they'll be doing more. So you don't just have to go on the trolley tour. There's lots of occasions to learn about this iconic Rye Chapel. Thank you.